Totally missed it.
Well, it doesn't work on
all right. Sorry about this. I think there's about to be a siren, which is why I decided to start early, because this is the eve of Memorial Day, and these sirens are set to ring out at 8 o'clock this evening. The Israeli Memorial Day is not quite like the American one, so it's very somber. In fact, the TV has been just focusing on stories of fallen soldiers. It's Memorial Day for fallen soldiers and victims of terror. Anyway, the sirens will go off in 2 minutes. I think it's it'll be like 1 minute long of sirens. And then also again tomorrow morning, I think around 11, there will be sirens again for 1 minute. The TV will go off after this. So like the programming will be stopped from that point, from after the siren until tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Only then will regular programming resume. So listen, I'm going to take a risk and bring you out to the balcony. And I tell you it's a risk because of the lack of internet. So stop me or let me know in the comments if it's not working. All right, Daniel, the sirens are going to go off. So I'll try to stay as close as possible. You ready? Don't be scared. These aren't the Iranian sirens. So it's a little bit PTSD for a lot of people, just to hear. There were also the planes that were going back and forth today, like they were doing exercises, drills for Memorial Day. I think that's what they usually do for Independence Day. But, that kind of got the attention of a lot of people. But I'm staying a little bit back I'm staying near the router is what I'm trying to do. But the balcony's there. I don't think the internet's going to reach. I'll try. That's it. We don't have to go to the shelter. Okay, so don't know if you guys heard that, if you were able to hear it. Hopefully it didn't break up. Yes, there was a siren. Why are you not in the shelter? Just kidding. Wow, I feel like it's still going off. Where? Yes, so Lovella, that was not a siren warning of an incoming missile. It was the siren that sounds for Memorial Day. Now, Memorial Day in Israel, if you ever happen to be here, it's the kind of day that it's Memorial Day. Like if you're American, you think Memorial Day is barbecues, beach, party, beginning of summer. But here it's actually a somber day to remember the fallen soldiers. I think the number is above 25,000 as of this year. And all day today, they had different ceremonies honoring soldiers, and all of the news programming was mostly with family members talking about whether it was their son, their daughter, their husband, who was a wife that was lost. And also, I believe that this, and they also honor victims of terror. But from this point, from this siren, there will be no regular programming on TV. It will be just ceremonies and then nothing, or replaying of some of the stories of remembering the people who were killed. So now at that siren, people pause, they stop what they're doing, stand, whether if they're driving, usually they stop the car and stand outside the car, and just for that moment of reflection, and then they pick up again. Now, in about 24 hours, in a bizarre turn to the whole situation, or twist, or total dichotomy of the situation, this country will erupt into celebrations for Independence Day. So it goes from somber and a complete pause, and everybody getting into the mindset of loss and grief, of which there has been a lot as well in the last couple of years. But then tomorrow night, the streets will erupt in partying and fireworks and concerts all over. And then that's the evening. And then the day of Independence Day is like barbecues, all over, just like it's outdoors. It's people meeting up, fun. And it's like one of the holidays that's not a religious holiday. So things are open, and there's public transportation. And so anyway, this country just goes from one thing to another. So we were shut down for 40 days because of the war. And then we had something, the Jerusalem Marathon on Friday shut down everything. So no sooner had anybody gone back to school or anything than the Jerusalem Marathon, just close the roads, close the schools, close everything on Friday. And then this week you could barely get in 2.5 days of school, when tomorrow's going to be a half day, Wednesday's going to be a day off, and then they'll go back on Thursday, but be off again on Friday. And all of that is just in time for the ceasefire to reach its deadline and perhaps be over and renew the fighting, and, going, back into war and lockdown. So I couldn't believe the timing that we have. We just go from one closure to another closure, whether it's for something somber and meaningful, where families are remembering the fallen, or it's a holiday, or it's a frivolous marathon that shuts the city down, or all we need is for President Trump to visit, and then you will have a complete shutdown of the city yet again, that will have nothing to do with war or holiday or marathon or anything. So this is how we live here. Anyway, so I'm just remembering, as usual, as the comments are popping in, that I can show the comments. I'm not going to use the side thing because it's really distracting. I can't focus. But anyway, I just want to say hi to Carol and John and Lavella and Walter. Thank you for joining. And Callie, thank you for joining. It's good to see you back. I'm sorry you don't feel well. And on top of everything else, I'm sure you are still suffering from war lag, in addition to whatever else you have going on, because war lag, the struggle is real. And amen to that, Callie. Can Trump just wait until July 1st if he's going to visit? Please, because we don't need any more disruption. What does it matter? After a kind of year like this, I don't know if we whatever. Anyway, Janine, great to see you. Thank you for joining. Awesome. Okay. And oh my gosh, Lisa, yay. I'm glad you tuned in. This is awesome. All right, cool. And Cheryl says, complete chaos. I'm so very sorry. Yeah, I was like, we need a better thing to say. Like, instead of going from glory to glory, we go from chaos to chaos. I guess it's best saying, right, you know what? They're probably done. You have to let them sit and set, because if you try to like scoop them up now, they'll all like smush together. So just give it like at least 10 minutes or so. Put a timer for 10 minutes. We've got cookies going on here. Only to, there are chocolate chip less chocolate chip cookies, because we forgot that things close. Why would they be open? Why would they be? Why would we have even the 24/7 and even the gas station? I mean, look, I have to say, like, Israelis take their Memorial Day seriously, and it's probably a better approach than partying through it. Although they'll save that, they'll make up for that on Independence Day. But hey, so anyway, that's it for Israel. Now all the channels, I wish I could show you, they're just showing like the National Memorial Day ceremony, which is taking place at the Western Wall, and that's it. There's no TV, no nothing, just the same ceremony on every single channel, and that's going to be the way it is for the next uh, almost 24 hours. I think till 7 p.m. tomorrow. So that is the way it is here. Okay, but let's go on to the news. Oh, Walter's daughter makes great chocolate chip cookies. Walter, I don't know how old your daughter is, but when you come to Israel, bring her, and maybe her and Raya could do a baking activity together here. And that's if you can ever make it back here, because who knows. So I walked around. I'm going to get to the big news of the day, which I was even going to report about yesterday, but I held it because I could not confirm, as I was like literally like just getting on the live, and I was like, I don't want to just flippantly mention that there was a picture going viral of an Israeli soldier desecrating a statue of Jesus in a Christian village in Lebanon. Now, I couldn't find the name of the village. I couldn't find if it was for sure in Lebanon, and that it was for sure at this time. And so I was like, wow, I know this is going to be big news, and this is not, like after Israel's fiasco with the cardinal and Easter or Palm Sunday, I said this is going to be really a fiasco, and I will have to see if like, I just wanted to let it pan out first, that this was a real photo, that it was real time like it's now, and that it was in Lebanon for sure. Because otherwise, there a lot of photos have been shared during wartime of other conflicts, or other, like in other times and other places, and this one is serious enough to like take it seriously. So sure enough, like as soon as I shut down the live last evening, I started seeing more confirmation to make me think like this is really true, and it's totally confirmed. But I just want to tell you that as I was walking around the old city today, there were signs of life, and everybody has opened their shops now. There's no tourists to open for, but I think it's just like bored shopkeepers, like just trying to stay busy. This poor restaurant owner, he has this great restaurant. If you guys come anytime soon, by Jaffa Gate, it's called Oak, and I saw him right before the war. And then he was shut for the war, had to shut down. And I saw him today, and he said, if this happens again, if there's another war, I am for sure leaving. His wife is from Jordan, and he's just going to go to Jordan. And he said, I can't do this. It's all during COVID and all during these wars. It's start and stop. It's like you're on a hamster wheel, and you can't get off of it. Like you can't go forward. And I felt so bad for him. So that's how a lot of people feel. And also, they were all talking about this deadline, and they're all assuming that the talks are going to fail and that the war is going to pick up again tomorrow or Wednesday. And I mean, they're saying tomorrow, Wednesday, also to be symbolic and ironic that if anything's going to happen, it's going to be on Israel's Independence Day. Now, I don't know if they're saying that Israel's going to make it be on its Independence Day, or Iran's going to say, hey, a Purim attack was symbolic, but so is Independence Day, so let's do that. Now, of course, it was actually U.S. and Israel that attacked on the Purim day, so maybe they're the ones that thought it was great. Honestly, I can't see Iran taking the first step and attacking. There's no way. Like, they're not going to do that. I don't, in my opinion. But could be that well, anyway, we'll go through that. But so first let's talk about Jesus, and not in the way that it just sounded when I said that. Let's go first of all to, and by the way, okay, Walter's daughter, 18 years old, her name is Israela. And okay, good. So her and Raya can do baking, and that's awesome. And hi, Mike. Yes, I'm going to get to that. That IDF confirmed it was one of their soldiers in Lebanon. And let us start out with, he might be the original source. This guy here, Yunus, from, he's a Palestinian journalist. Where did I get the impression he's in Lebanon? I'm not sure if he's in Lebanon or somewhere closer. Okay, so, but he's got a lot of videos from Lebanon. Here is the picture in question, and there is wait, why is that happening? Okay, here you can see that is an Israeli soldier, and he has a sledgehammer, and he took down Jesus off the cross with a sledgehammer in a Christian village. Don't know the name of it. Sorry. Debel, they're saying. I think Eunice says that the town of Debel is saying that this statue belongs to them. Let's take a look at this was the statue before being desecrated, and they have written here, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Now, this has created a firestorm, as you could expect, that an Israeli soldier desecrated this statue of Jesus. I mean, this went viral, and it's probably, you guys have probably heard the news, and let's see what the IDF said. Now, of course, they said they were going to investigate, and let's see, and then they came up with first of all, they start here. The IDF is currently examining the reliability of the photograph. If this is indeed a real recent picture, these actions do not align with the IDF's values and behavior expected of IDF soldiers. The incident will be investigated thoroughly and in depth, and if necessary, steps will be taken. Okay, so let's see if Nadav here, what? How have you not posted? Isn't this him? And I just clicked on here and it's in no posts. What? So he didn't even come out with the statement yet? Because somebody else did. Okay, well, we'll go to somebody else then. Let's go to Netanyahu, because he confirmed it as well. And here we go. All right, Prime Minister Netanyahu, who's been in hot water with the Christian world in the last couple of weeks. Okay, as the Jewish state, Israel cherishes and upholds the Jewish values of tolerance and mutual respect between Jews and worshipers of all faiths. All religions flourish in our land, and we view members of all faiths as equal in building our society and region. I just said a lot of words and I didn't even get to the point yet. Let me see. Oh, okay. Here we go. Second paragraph. Yesterday, like the overwhelming majority of Israelis, I was stunned and saddened to learn that an IDF soldier damaged a Catholic religious icon in southern Lebanon. I'm sorry. Am I missing a name here? Did I miss a name? Guys, is there a name missing? Starts with J? Okay, I condemn the act in the strongest terms. Military authorities are conducting a criminal probe of the matter and will take appropriately harsh disciplinary action against the offender. And then let's go back to the messaging. While Christians are being slaughtered in Syria and Lebanon by Muslims, the Christian population in Israel thrives unlike anywhere in the Middle East. Israel is the only country that the Christian population and standard of living is growing in the region. Israel is the only place in the Middle East that adheres to freedom of worship. We express regret for the incident and for any hurt this has caused to believers in Lebanon and around the world. I'm sorry. Did I miss something? Did I miss a name here? What a religious icon? That is not like, I mean, you could say like an idol, like maybe like, but not in the sense of icon idol, like in like, American Idol. I don't know. Like, I mean, he did not write the name Jesus in this apology, non-apology that he gave, where he spent more verbiage defending Israel and its approach to freedom of religion and its treatment of minorities. But he did not, I mean, he barely apologized, and he didn't even say for what. Like, there's no Jesus in the picture here, and it is all about Jesus. And I don't mean it in the way that it sounds that I just said it, but I am, yeah, okay. I see in the comments that Zemi is here. Thank you for the cookie, Raya. They the foreign ministry also put out a statement. I'm sure they have to. Oh, I can't even. Very good. Raya made chocolate chip cookies because we don't have any, and the stores are closed. Okay. Oh, very interesting what Mike says here. It's like they lost their mind and didn't find replacements yet. Very interesting. And Barry is picking up on Catholic religious icons, so he can't actually say the word Jesus. Yes, like I mean, not even cross. Was the word cross here? The word cross was not even mentioned. Guys, this is the head of state that is trying to defend himself. Again, that is saying, like in this case, like we treat Christians well, and we are so, we didn't mean this, and this is not our values. But how is this? I'm gonna go now. I gotta go. I'm curious now. I gotta go to this Haddad character because I know he's got a statement. Oh boy, I can't find it right now. Come on, Yusuf Haddad. How does he spell his name? Because you know that he would be like, he's going to defend Israel, but he's a Christian, an Israeli Christian. Okay, none of my Twitter stuff is working. This is so ridiculous. All right. Anyway, let me get off of this. Very good cookies, Raya. What? Very good cookies. Okay. Let me see. Lovella says, wow, I don't know what I just did with your comment, but it's here. Wow, what did I just do? It's like gone. It's like there's a religious statue, in my biblical opinion, and it did need to come down. Jesus didn't stay on the cross. He was buried and raised himself from the dead and is now seated at the right hand of God. Well, while theologically I agree with you, it's like a huge sign of disrespect to the people who do believe that and whose church it is, because if anything, it's their property. And I have to say, like, the people in the region are Catholic, Orthodox, those denominations, and this is part of their faith. It would be like going into a synagogue and saying, "Well, I don't believe that you need to put the Torah scrolls in the ark, so we're gonna, because the word of God, dwells among us, so you don't have to do that, so let's destroy it. I mean, I don't think you do that, because also, I mean, it's disrespectful to another religion, and this is, I mean, Israel just stepped in it with the Christians, and they just stepped in it again, like big time. And I guess Smashing will get people to talk about Jesus again. I mean, I hopefully they'll talk about Jesus instead. I mean, of course they're going to talk about Israel instead, but they should talk about, yes. And then Carol says that it shows the power of the name of Jesus, that they can't even say it. Right. So, all right, I'm going to show, this is another, I last week I read an article, of some parts of an article, or I shared it. I think I shared it on Facebook, actually, is what I did, about by this guy, Lazar Berman, from the Times of Israel. And here's what he says. And he's, so he's an Israeli reporter, right? And he says, destruction of Jesus statue should serve as a moral wake-up call for the IDF and Israel. Israel boasts about being a safe place for Christians and other minorities, yet it is unwilling to crack down on soldiers and civilians whose actions are taking a hammer to ties with Christians. I mean, come on. Whether or not this you agree with statues, somebody using a sledgehammer on an image of a body, I mean, this is something that you see, like, even in Iran, like if they're burning effigies of Prime Minister Netanyahu or something like that, like you just, like, it takes it to another level. So here, this incident, he says, it so perfectly encapsulated some of the worst tropes about Israel and Jews that many instinctively assumed it was an AI generated product meant to slander the Jewish state. And actually, that's one of the thoughts I had. Now, while I don't put it past anybody, and especially some, in the Israeli population, to do something like that. I mean, I've covered vandalism, I've covered violence against Christians. There's a lot of things going on in the settlements as well. And, it was more concentrated in Jerusalem a couple of years ago. It's a little quieter now. But I was like, I do not want to fall prey to an AI generated picture, because, as Lazar Berman says right here, it so perfectly encapsulated some of the worst tropes that I was like, oh my gosh. Friends of Israel who thought that the photograph might be real prayed it wasn't. That's how damaging the picture is. Their prayers went unanswered. An IDF soldier has indeed taken a hammer to the face of a statue depicting Jesus in the Christian town of Debel in southern Lebanon. There was no AI, no manipulation, no getting around an image that points to a deep moral compass in the IDF and in broader Israeli society. It's hard to think of an image that could be more damaging to Israel on the world stage right now, because here he is, Tucker Carlson. He is, oh my gosh, he's going to do something. If he hasn't already done something on this, he's doing it. He's probably planning with Candace Owens. They're probably going to, oh, wow. Anyway, all right. Lazar points out, this is not an isolated incident, and it's not just a single soldier. I was listening to another podcast before on YouTube by an Orthodox Jew, Pesach Wolsalski, I think his name is. I'd have to look it up exactly Pesach. I have to look up his last name, but he said that this is not an isolated incident. It represents some sort of education that is going on, or miseducation that needs to be um, dealt with and corrected. And anyway, so I have to say that this is going to be slightly disastrous. By the way, you guys' comments are disappearing. Callie, did you write something about religious icon? Because I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and when I went to click on it, it's gone. All right. If you can you repaste it and maybe it'll pop up? Okay, so Mike says, I was raised Catholic and never agree with what I heard, that Israel shouldn't exist. The Pope and everyone do not know what the Bible says. We're going to get to a comment by the Pope in a second. And Callie says, Candace and Tucker are going to cash in on this one. And they will. And they will. Yes. Okay. Oh, good. Thank you, Callie. And hello to Marilyn. Okay. Quick. I'm putting it up before I lose it. Guys, if I don't read your comments, it could be that some of these are just disappearing. I don't even know what's happening. Okay, technically, religious icon refers to a depiction of Jesus or other saints. Right. It's pretty specific terminology, but I would have been more honest to the shock value to have said it was an icon depicting Jesus. I mean, first of all, like, it's not an icon, right? Like, I mean, I have to brush up on my Catholicism. Maybe Mike or John here could help. But isn't, like Callie said, an icon more like a picture? Or like something small, but this is a statue. This is like, yeah, anyway. But let's put it this way. This is a disaster for Israel. I mean, they like to tout themselves as the most moral army in the world. And then when they do things like this, which was like, not like, oh, oops, sorry, our missile hit the church, by accident. We didn't mean to hit the church. This is like not an accident. This is it shows some kind of rage and hatred and aggression. And it's definitely, this is something that Israel is going to be mopping up for a long time. So in the meantime, I have got to find this guy, because I know he's going to say something ridiculous and I'm going to get upset. Let me see. Oh, wait, did I just say that out loud? Oh my gosh, how could it not be? How could I not find him? Like on the first try. Oh yeah. All right. Wow. But no poster showing. This is absolutely, I'm having a very bizarre day with my internet. And anyway. All right. So we've got that. We got that. Do you guys want to talk about the news, the other news? I mean, I do want to keep actually going off on this one, but oh, what did I just do? No. Okay. I hope I didn't bump you up. All right, let's try Instagram, because I'm sure he's got something on Instagram. No, but then I have to play a video. I don't want to do that. Really, nothing's working today. All right, let me give it up. I believe it is considered an icon along with pictures. Okay, so you think? All right, I'd have to look it up. Okay, so also, when you need appreciate the support of Christians, you can name who it is. I mean, really, like, small thing. The other person I wanted to look up was Huckabee, because I know he had a statement. You know who Mike Huckabee is, the ambassador of the U.S. to Israel. But I am having like mega problems with my internet, and I can't find this guy. So Huckabee is a devout Christian, and he is also a he's also a Zionist. He's very Zionistic, very pro-Israel. And so wow, maybe it's Twitter, not me. Mike, let's see. Oh, Raya, turn your videos lower. My God, put your headphones on. For the first time, I'm actually telling her to put her headphones on. Okay, let's see if Huckabee said something. Oh, nope. It's X that's not working. All right, so I'll just tell you what he said. I unfortunately only have a part of a quote where he says, "Swift, severe, and public consequences are needed." So that's what he had to say about that. Anyway, so this can definitely put a rift again between the Christian world and Israel. Janice says not making any excuses, but a response to the vile Jew hate in the U.S. cannot be totally disregarded. Okay, so yeah, there's obviously anti-Semitism. There's but I think when it comes to this kind of acting out against specifically Christian icons, let's say, or symbols, and like churches or even priests, I think it has to do with this deep-seated fear in Israel or among Israelis that that the Christians are there to conquer or to. There's a lot of they look at Christians as crusaders or as the ones that forced their ancestors to convert, and they look at them as a threat to Judaism, and they see them as the enemy. So I think it's not necessarily in response to the vile anti-Semitism that can happen anywhere, but it could even just be that this was the kind of education they grew up with. You see Jesus, you think, oh, he's the leader of the enemies. And so we'll find out more as we find out the identity of the soul, if we find out the identity of the soldier and what happened. So, okay, so I am looking for let me see. Man, I still cannot believe. Okay, the IDF. I can't believe that they didn't say Jesus. Okay, so let me read you the IDF statement, of which, let's say, I'm not even going to bother trying to pull it up because I cannot seem to find. I can't get anything to work on my computer. These other links. It was pretty early. Okay. Following the completion, this is the IDF statement, following the completion of an initial examination regarding a photograph published earlier today of an IDF soldier harming a Christian symbol. At least they said Christian, right? I don't know. Not religious icon. It was determined that the photograph depicts an IDF soldier operating in southern Lebanon. The IDF views the incident with great severity and emphasizes that the soldier's conduct is wholly inconsistent with the values expected of its troops. The incident is being investigated. Appropriate measures will be taken. And the IDF is working to assist the community in restoring the statue to its place. The IDF is operating to dismantle the terrorist infrastructure established by Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. It has no intention of harming civilian infrastructure, including religious buildings or religious symbols. Again, no mention of Jesus, maybe slightly more repentant, but still no mention of Jesus. Yeah, so all of these influencers that have stepped up to talk about this are, the pro-Israel influencers are saying, yeah, this happened, this is so bad, but this is a good time to look at how Israel treats the Christians so well, and how in Muslim nations like Syria and in Lebanon, the Muslims are persecuting the Christians. So it's like not really like a apology, it's not like they're saying, wow, this is, it's like, just name it and don't make excuses, and then don't butter yourselves up and say how great your country is doing in this regard, right on the heels of something that is extremely egregious. Okay, now I am going to read to you the response from the Catholic Church in the Holy Land. Profanation of an image of Jesus crucified. The Assembly of Catholic Ordinaries of the Holy Land expresses its profound indignation and unreserved condemnation of the desecration of a representation of Jesus crucified by an Israeli soldier. This is such bad. That just doesn't work. Okay, the clause is in the wrong place. All right. I feel like I'm saying that an Israeli soldier crucified Jesus. Okay, it was the Romans that crucified him, but okay. I'm not here to correct the English. I'm just going to read. Okay. The desecration of a representation of Jesus crucified by an Israeli soldier in a Lebanese village. This act constitutes a grave affront to the Christian faith and adds to other reported incidents of desecration of Christian symbols by IDF soldiers in southern Lebanon. Okay, so it's not an isolated incident. It further reveals a disturbing failure in moral and human formation, wherein even the most elementary reverence for the sacred and for the dignity of others has been gravely compromised. The Assembly calls for immediate and decisive disciplinary action, a credible process of accountability, and clear assurances that such conduct will neither be tolerated nor repeated. Yet, even in the face of such offense, the cross remains unassailable in its meaning. As St. Paul the Apostle declares, "Far be it from me to glory except in the cross of our Lord Jesus Christ," Galatians 6:14. For believers, the cross endures as a source of dignity, hope, and redemption, and as a summons to overcome violence through sacrificial love. It is precisely in this light that the Church continues to proclaim that the true peace cannot be born of violence, but must remain. In the words of Pope Leo the 14th, unarmed, a peace that calls to put the sword back into its sheath. For this reason, the Assembly renews with urgency its call to bring to an end the war that has tormented this region for far too long, and to embrace a path where peace is witnessed in restraint, dialogue, responsibility, and reverence for the sacred and for every human life. Reverence for the sacred and for every human life. And this is issued today by Pier Battista Pizzaballa, the Cardinal and the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem. So anyway, as you can see, this has gotten a lot of people upset, and this is oh, Raya, get your AirPods off, please. No, never mind. Put your AirPods far away. Sorry, Raya, no, please just don't use them. I'll be done in like a few minutes. Okay. You guys still hear me? Because somebody's AirPods just connected to this live stream. So anyway, public relations nightmare. Okay. And disaster in general, just really, I think for like, you see one soldier do that, but the fact that the prime minister in his apology spent more words defending his country's freedom of religion and treatment of Christians, as opposed to pointing the finger at other countries like Syria and Lebanon, where maybe even there are other countries that, like Iran. Like, what about Iran? Like, isn't it like, yeah, that could even be worse. But pointed the finger at those countries and then didn't even mention Jesus, like didn't even mention the word cross, but used this very vague religious icon. Okay, so So anyway, Sheikh Zabi is saying free Palestine and then free Palestine. We talked about yesterday about what's happening in Gaza, and some freedom is surely needed over there. I do have a video that I want to show you about that. And okay, and then let's see. Okay, so let's talk about the war. Oh my gosh, wait, there's a war. Hold on, guys. Really. So, who's going to the peace talks in Islamabad? Who's on their way? Who's not going? Who's refusing to go? What is Trump saying? And what minute is it? Because by the minute, the story seems to change. I'll tell you a little bit about what I have, what I've got. Let's see, all this conglomeration of notes. Trump still he's hopeful. He's hopeful, but he says that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and so anyway, but he is hopeful that the talks are going to pan out. He said, and if Iran's new leaders, which he puts in quotes, regime change, or he puts in parentheses regime change, look, we did regime change. If they're smart, Iran can have a great and prosperous future. Okay, then let's see what else. So I talked yesterday about what is happening in Iran. Is it being controlled by the IRGC and the military and the more militant hardline factions, or what about the speaker, and the political echelon, who is actually calling the shots here, and who is Trump talking to? Like, is he talking to the military, or is he talking to the politicians? We haven't necessarily heard about that. Oh, by the way, I just found the Yusuf Haddad quotes, going back to Lebanon. I am just going to grab it, and I'll save that for the end. I got to save this guy for the end because and we've moved on, and I've got something about Halibaf here. He's the parliament speaker. Apparently has criticized the hardline elements in Iran. So there is something going on between the hardline and the softer line in Iran, and they're saying, one of the things he said, and apparently this was in Iran International, that he is concerned that people like him and the foreign minister Abbas Arakchi could be getting flack and could be possibly removed from their positions by the militant extremists. So there is some kind of tension brewing. As we talked about yesterday, I mentioned that analyst that I heard speak yesterday, where he was talking about this tension that was ever rising. Okay, now what else I've got some stuff from Lebanon, but let's finish off with Iran. Let me see. By the way, there was a terror network that was thwarted in Azerbaijan, which was going to attack like some Jewish targets and also an oil pipeline in Azerbaijan. And they say it was an Iranian, they say it was an Iranian cell or something. Let me see. But it was arrested by Azerbaijan. Okay, that was that. Got this guy. Okay. The Hormuz is still closed. It's like closed, like Iran's got like, people can get through, like the boats can get through up until, like, if Iran allows them, and if you pay their toll in rials, then you can go through, but then you'll be stopped by the US because the US is like in the Gulf of Oman. So it's like there's the double blockade. So anyway, so there's that is still going on. Nobody's budging on that. Da, da, da. Where was that? That was in Azerbaijan that they said, okay, in the Azerbaijan, the terror cell in Azerbaijan, that they were targeting senior Israeli officials and strategic objectives. Wow, this Iranian terror cell that they found here. Oh my gosh. Okay, so several weeks ago, there was a terrorist cell in Azerbaijan that was neutralized. But then they said, okay, along, sorry, other, okay, so that was like it was mostly happening in Azerbaijan. All right, that's it. That's it. I think that's it. We've got this one. And all right. So then, last but not least, going to not last but not least, we got two things. We got Lebanon, and we have Lebanon, and the other. Wow, there's like a ton of comments. When did they all come in? Is it just I didn't like scroll? That's so funny. All right, let's see. It makes you wonder if Tucker Carlson is connected to this with the way he is against Israel, and the way Tucker plays the Christian card. Unfortunately, Tucker is going to be connected to this once he does his video, which, as you can imagine, is probably out. It's probably like being uploaded as we speak. Oh yeah, Mike is sympathizing with the AirPod thing. So now she's blasting her video so that because I'm not letting her use the AirPods right now. So now we got to hear the video in the background. Okay, so Callie says if we could not just do stupid things that become international incidents, it would be a good day. Oh my gosh. This is Monstro. They have this shameless audacity to do such vile acts on other land. Yeah. I mean, they did it on other land too. Yeah, it must be an Israeli false flag as usual. Wait, which part? Are you talking about in Lebanon or what was happening in Azerbaijan? There was like this whole big. You know what? I shouldn't have even started because I was reading like a press release, and those things are like you have even no idea. Like they're not in English. They're English, really bad English. It's like you don't even know what you're reading in the end. Okay, you need like a reporter to parse it, which I didn't do beforehand. So there was an attack on a synagogue in the UK. Okay, and yep. And Walter says it's going to be interesting to see how things go in the next few days. Totally. So, like I said, the people in the old city are thinking war is about to happen, and everybody's getting ready to close their shops again on Wednesday. And then there was somebody else who was very positive, and he said, why would they go through the trouble of doing all of these deals, like even with Lebanon, if there was not going to be a long lasting peace? They think that Trump doesn't want to go back to war. He doesn't want to go, so it's gonna, I'm like, I give up. I don't know what to believe. I'll just find out, right? And Azerbaijan is a Mossad stronghold since it has a border with Iran. There is a lot of news about that for sure. And of course, Azerbaijan and Israel have like great relations, and so there's because probably precisely because of that border with Iran. I mean, it's an extremely long border, and of course that there can be a lot of access. Right there. So yeah, a lot of people assume that. I don't know if it's like we all know it, like wink, wink, or if it's like actually official, but we all know it. Yeah. So very interesting. So anyway, that could be what helped if there really was like this Iranian terror cell that was going to go after Jewish institutions and the oil pipeline there. Whether you're saying or that it was a false flag operation, but it could be like if that was the case, if it would be the thing to, let's put it this way, the Jewish institutions is one thing, But to go after a pipeline would be in Iran's interests because, of course, everybody now wants to depend on Azerbaijan, and other oil sources. Then, what, you have a headache? Oh, again? You need to sleep? Oh, by the way, did you give Daniel a cookie? Okay, let him have one. No, you can anytime. Okay, so anyway, all right, now let's go to other parts of Lebanon. That because there is some news coming out about that, what's happening there, and there was a statement. All right. Well, first of all, we have that the president. Wait, Raya, put it lower, please. Joseph Aoun has decided who's going to be holding the talks with Israel, and ex-ambassador Simon Karam. So here is a statement. The choice to negotiate aims to stop hostilities, end the Israeli occupation of the southern regions, and deploy the Lebanese army all the way. Is it burned? Oh my God. Disaster in the background. And all the way to the internationally recognized southern borders with Israel. He named Karam to head the negotiations, and he said the talks will be separate from any other negotiations, referencing the U.S.-Iran diplomacy and the wider Middle East war. Lebanon faces two choices: war or negotiations. I have chosen negotiations, and I am fully hopeful that we can save Lebanon. Okay, so that's the president of Lebanon saying today that he's choosing negotiations. Now, this doesn't mean that everybody is saying, peace with Israel or we love Israel, but they are definitely, there is much more push toward negotiations and quote unquote peace than, or at least some kind of end to hostilities. Let's put it that way. So Issa, who is the U.S. ambassador to Lebanon, meets Ayoun and Berry. Berry is the Speaker of Parliament, Nabi Berry. He met with the two of them. So things are progressing. So he was at, well, maybe it wasn't him. Was it him? There was a female. Oh, no, the female ambassador is the Lebanese ambassador. Okay. So anyway, so things are happening. This is like in the Lebanese press. Like this is now a common thing that they talk about, and that, it's moving forward despite the fact that for years nobody has, this is like 43 years that Israel and Lebanon have had no talks, no peace, state of war, and somehow they are actually just talking that it's no longer shocking. Like a couple weeks ago or months ago, years ago, it would be shocking to say that Israel and Lebanon were coming to the table together, but now it is actually just part of the discourse. And yeah, so anyway, okay, now I want to show you, speaking of when they say what Israel is doing in and occupying southern Lebanon, let us look at what Israel is currently, what Lebanese land they are occupying. So here is the border with Israel in blue down at the bottom. Then you've got the red, and then you have got the yes, Daniel, come here. And the rest of the land is Lebanon. So this red is what they are calling the yellow line in South Lebanon near the border, where its forces, where this is what Israel has determined. This is going to be what they want as the security zone. It is, I think it's 10 kilometers, 6 miles deep along the border. On Saturday, Israel's military announced a yellow line in the country's south. The following day, it published a map identifying a forward defense line stretching from the Mediterranean in the west up to Lebanon's border with Syria in the east. It said 5 divisions alongside Israeli naval forces were operating the area to dismantle Hezbollah infrastructure and prevent direct threats to communities in northern Israel. The area includes frontier villages that were destroyed or heavily damaged after previous rounds of hostility erupted between Israel and Hezbollah in 2023. Most locals have fled the area, though residents of some Christian villages have been defying Israeli army evacuation orders. UN peacekeepers are also stationed there. By the way, French peacekeeper was killed by Hezbollah yesterday. Okay, on Monday, Israel's military warned Lebanese civilians against returning to dozens of villages south of the forward defense line, claiming Hezbollah activities in the area were violating the ceasefire. Israeli troops have been destroying buildings in border towns since the truce began. Israel has repeatedly tried to create a buffer zone in southern Lebanon. And then, I mean, look, this goes, compares it to Gaza. And this says in Gaza, however, the line was the result of an agreement with Hamas. In Lebanon, there is no agreement. It was decided unilaterally by Israel. He said, this is expert Hassan Juni, a Lebanese military expert. So he said it creates a so-called free fire area like in Gaza where any activity is considered suspicious and justifies opening fire. All right, so this is obviously different, you know, in some ways, because you're dealing with a government. How do I put this? Like you're dealing with a government and a country, whereas in Gaza, you're dealing with Hamas as the government, which is, you know, I guess it doesn't necessarily rise to the same standards of, I don't know, diplomacy and international, I don't know. Anyway, just about creating the buffer zone. I'm not talking about anything else. Okay, so anyway, this is what it looks like. This is what the South looks like. And you can see this yellow line. Why is it in red if it's a yellow line? It just like annoys me. Is pretty substantial. And it covers all of Lebanon from the Mediterranean Sea all the way to the border with Syria. So pretty significant chunk of land right there. Okay, so since we're in Lebanon again, wait, Raya, are you burning something with the hair straightener? Because like there's smoke, there's fire smell coming here.
I know. Do you remember the thing that Nene gave me?
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
It melted off.
No wonder we have like a fire going on in the house. Oh my God.
Listen, it melted off the thing. The thing is made so hot, it melted off all the little cones on the side of it.
It's just like it burned? Like it's burning.
No.
There's something burning.
That's the thing. There's no setting for it to make it like the heat lower or that. That's the setting.
Well, it's like 1,000 years old. It should be in the garbage a long time ago. I'm sorry. Again, I'm getting like a bunch of your comments coming in like now, and I feel like I missed a bunch like up there. But anyway, I'm sorry if I did. Just let me know. But Raya, take that thing, the whole device, and put it out here. The Lebanese president, as decisive as the Palestinian PA president, he can decide nothing. Is the Lebanese president, I know there's like a Christian, a Muslim, or Shia and a Sunni, right? That's like supposed to be the heads of state in Lebanon, like always, like, is Ayoun the Christian? And then there's, is a Shia and a Sunni? If anybody knows, feel free to let me know. And then Israel used to want up to the Litani River. the line up to Litani River. Right. And actually, I can't tell from the map if that's above it or below it. We should get a fire alarm. It helps when things burn. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think I need to go check on that thing because I really smell burning plastic. So, yeah, last but not least, let me see it.
The whole thing came off. The whole this thing.
Oh my God, guys, look at this. Oh my God, it's like burning. This is ancient. This should not be.
Wait, let me show you the other piece.
My God, you guys know there was a fire in the Armenian Quarter, like in the convent, and it was major. It was so bad, and somebody was found unconscious in her.
Don't touch it. It's burning.
In her apartment, and is still hospitalized. Go ahead, here, show them. Look at this.
Don't touch it. It's burning.
Yeah, but like I don't.
See, all the little combs all came off of it, and it melted everywhere. Like
We have like fire smell here in the house. I can't believe it. Oh my God. Don't use things that are that ancient for sure. The electric's going to be bad. Oh my God. Anyway. Wow. All right. So pray for this woman. She is still hospitalized. She was apparently in the house that was burning. She passed out and she was there for about 30 minutes. People couldn't even get in to rescue her because of the smoke, and it really bad. And of course, because it's the old city, it just took so long for rescue people to get. I mean, there were just the neighbors were helping for about 20 minutes before first responders arrived. So it was crazy. Okay, so Raya destroyed a beauty icon from the 90s. Yeah, thank you. Oh, okay. So you're saying the red line is below the river. Okay. They do talk about the Litani River, though. Yeah. So, oh my gosh. Wow. We got to air out this house. It's so bad. All right. So pray for that woman. Now we're going to pray for this woman. I want to just go to Gaza while we're at it. We talked yesterday about what's happening in Gaza, that women are, especially widows, are being preyed upon and harassed and worse by Hamas. So let's take a look at this video. I think this was supplied by Juicer News.
في جمعيات يما بتستغل النسوان صح اقول لك لا اصيل بغش النسوان مسكينات بدنا نحالة علشان تاخذ لها حبة رز حبة سكر
بحكي لها تعالي تفضلي في إلك طرد وهو يمثل تنظيم إسلامي تنظيم بديش أحكي أنا تنظيم سياسي إذا بتمشي معي هيك أنا بعطيكي كذا والستات اللي ما عندهم خبرة في الحياة وهيك يعني ينعزلوا جانبا. بصيرش الحكي هذا، ما بصير. الجمعية الإسلامية يعني بديش أحكي لك هي أكثر إشي تقوم بهذا الشيء من رئيسها وحتى البواب، كل الحاشية والموظفين والأعضاء، وكأنه تنظيم مسيستم للتحرش الجنسي، لإيذاء النفسيات، للتحرش في الصبايا.
أنا رحت لجمعية استقبلوني، لقيت ناس شيوخ يعني حكيت إنه متدينين يعني وهذا اللي حيجيب لي حل يعني الحمد لله. فقعدت المدير رحب فيا وقال لي أهلا وسهلا. حكيت له أنا قصتي هيك ما بستفيد، أنا بدي حقي يعني كمواطنة في المخيم يعني زي غيري. فحكى لي ولا يهمك، حضرتك إيش الاسم وإيش؟ قلت له أنا منفصلة لي 4 أطفال. قال لي واو منفصلة ما شاء الله عنك يعني كل هالجمال هذا ومنفصلة. المهم حكى لي ولا يهمك أنا حأساعدك وأكون إن شاء الله بجنبك. هاتي رقمك وإن شاء الله خير. أنا أخذتها على إنه يعني كوالد صراحة، يعني هي كوالدي بده يساعدني في الظروف هذه. أكيد في ناس مناح زي ما في ناس مش نافعة. قال لي بدي تفتح معي كم في الليل. قلت له أفتح معك كاميرا يعني؟ قال لي لا. قلت له أنت كيف تحكي معي هيك؟ أنت إنسان هيتك محترم، بس أنت إنسان عن جد يعني مش محترم، احترم نفسك. كتلت معاه وحكيت معاه إني أنا حأفضحك، يعني أنت إنسان بزبطش تكون مسؤول. أنا قلت له بدي أفضحك. قال لي ما تفضح، أنا الحكومة.
المحافظة الوسطى، سنة للعمل، ننزل أسواق وناخد نصدر بضاعة ونلم مصاري من أبناء التجار، واللي بغلط على الحركة بنهجم عليه، بنمسكه بنكسره وبنطخه برجليه. تواصلت معنا مرت صاحبنا وتواصلت مع أونس الأستاذ قائد القسام اللي يساعدها، وهو بيستغلها. طلع مش محترم، وتحرينا عن الموضوع. لقيناه عامل خيمة في منطقة الغرابلي، عدد من الشباب القسام كان بده يشتغلها، هو إبراهيم برية وعلي النجار ومحمود مسمح. بلغنا القيادة قالنا نلتزم الصمت.
أنا من كتاب القسام، بلغنا القيادة عدد من شباب القسام بيستغلوا في النساء والشهداء في خيمة في مخيم الغرابلي بدير البلح، وبتردد على أبانس الأستاذ مسمح أبو رية. بلغونا القسام نلتزم الصمت، التزمنا، قلنا له هذا عرضنا وشرفنا. رحنا كسرنا الخيمة، بس بدهم إيانا نكسر نطخ ونكسر عشان اللي بيغلط على حماس.
All right, guys. So that is a little bit of what is happening in Gaza. Now, there's also something that I've heard is going on is there is a lot of there's a lot of, what do you call it, of there's now fighting with militias as well, anti-Hamas militias, as like unconnected to this particular story, but that they are going out and fighting Hamas as well. So so that's, Gaza is not done, not at peace. It's definitely like nothing's been resolved, for their future, the people who are living there, in tents. There's no talk of construction right now that we know of. I mean, maybe people are talking, it's just not being reported. But it was, Trump was hoping to recruit the wealthy Gulf states like the UAE, Saudi Arabia, to start rebuilding there, to start, pouring into the economy. But instead, what you have is Hamas still running the show and running it like mafia, as you can see, but also other militias that are now coming out and fighting Hamas. Now, this was also reported, like during the war, when Israel was in Gaza, they were talking about how some of the militias were working with Israel against Hamas, but and you don't hear of them anymore. Like, it's not the same ones. There was it Abu Shabab or something? Like, I don't hear of the group, of the militia, him, what's happening. I have no idea what's happening. I know that there was a bloodbath after the ceasefire was declared because the militias went at it. So it was no longer like Israel against Hamas and the Palestinians. It was the Palestinians against the Palestinians. It was the militias against Hamas. And from what I understood, Hamas won, restored order there, and they were able to reassert themselves there. So anyway, so that is a little bit of what's happening there. Now I wanted to see if I could find any videos of the fighting that is going on, but I'm not able to find any fast enough. And I didn't have them ready in advance. But just so you know, this is something that is now being reported more so. Let me see. This is like you can see this is getting out there. It's also in the New York Post. Yesterday, I think the story I referred to was in, I think, the Daily Mail or another British website. So anyway, okay. Now I saw that. Penny says, is Qatar? Oh, this is so weird. Okay, so it's a problem with the Facebook comments. For some reason, when I hover over the comment, it disappears. I wonder if this would work. Let's see. Now it works, but then I can't read it because it's too small. But is Qatar funding Hamas? They had been, and they probably are still in a way. Are they funding Hamas? They were supposed to be funding the Palestinians and in Gaza, and Gaza is run by Hamas. So Hamas was getting the money. So are they funding Hamas, or are they trying to be charitable to the Palestinians? Now we're certainly allowing Hamas leaders to live in Doha. So there's definitely something going on there, but mind you, this was all with the agreement, with Israel's agreement. So it's very complicated to just say that, well, Qatar funds Hamas, but everybody is like promotes that. Like the West is like happy that Qatar is sending money to the Palestinians in Gaza because somebody needs to. But is it getting to the people is the question. So I don't know now with the war. I mean, I can't imagine that things necessarily changed, but it's possible that look at this. I'm going to make this bigger for myself and see if I can read the comments and what I missed. I didn't miss too much from Facebook. Okay. I just said I had to make the screen bigger to see. So I don't know if the war changed things in the meantime, and if there's still funding, or if the suitcases of cash got lost in the mail or whatever. So that might have put a dent in things. That part I don't know. I don't know where it stands now. Let's put it that way. But all right. Well, I think I have out-talked myself for tonight. And honestly, just with the war, I probably have spent like the last few days and definitely the last few hours with the back and forth of Iran says this and then US says that. And it's like, I'm going to throw it all in the trash, because I think instead of trying to keep up with an ever changing and fluid narrative, like even Trump just put out a statement right now, like, forget it. Like, I think it all becomes old news 1 minute later. And so I'm just going to leave it aside, and we'll pick up tomorrow wherever they decide to leave off. So will there be a return to war by this time tomorrow night? I don't think so. I don't think so. But many people are expecting it to be on Wednesday. So get back to me on Wednesday. We'll see. And could be more of the same, or it could be just the regular back and forth of he said, and then he said, and then he said, and then he said, and then these two over here are fighting each other, and these two over here are fighting each other. But I don't know. For now, we're gonna call it a night, and you can hear it's almost like Shabbat here. It's like all quiet, like done. There's no entertainment, nothing going on, and as people mourn the fallen, and in a small country like this, everybody knows somebody. You know, my kids go to a school for Arabs and Jews together. And even like in a small school like that, you've got like where there you've got graduates who one who was killed in the war in Gaza. I have a friend who lost her son. So it's really the kind of country where everybody is touched by it in some way. I know that also on this particular day, you know, speaking of the kids' school, where it's like Arabs and Jews together, there are memorial services that are for Arabs and Jews together, for Palestinians and Israelis together to mourn their losses in their ways, even though it was like on opposite sides of the fighting, but they do it together so that they can begin to repair those wounds and the divisions between them. So it's a very unique approach. If I find some information about that, like any of their ceremonies that they had tonight, I will bring those to you as well. I know I haven't seen them in the past, so I'll be on the lookout for that. But it's just a very complicated and interesting time and place. Nothing is straightforward. So anyway, thank you for joining. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your interaction. As always, just much more interesting when I'm not the only one talking. So thank you all for joining, and I will see you probably tomorrow night, but we'll see about that. Anyway, ciao for now, and good day or good night.